Hello everyone, today is the 7th of October. Right at the start of lockdown, I began to read Hilary Mantel's The Mirror and the Light, a huge novel of many hundreds of pages and a vast array of characters. It's the last in her trilogy about the rise and indeed fall of Thomas Cromwell as Henry VIII's right-hand man, and it rounds off the story started in the earlier novels Wolf Hall and Bring Up the Bodies. The Mirror and the Light starts with a graphic and gruesome description of the execution of Anne Boleyn. It's not just Anne. Henry has lined up a whole series of beheadings for the same time as part of what we would call a purge. These other executions are to be carried out by axe, but rather than subject Anne to this crude instrument, Henry employs the services of an expert swordsman with his specially balanced, precisely honed sword. He will be able to achieve the same grisly result more swiftly and without as much suffering. The entire account and its gory aftermath are chilling. But get this, for Henry, the deployment of the swordsman is the epitome, the very height of kindness. It shows his thoughtful, considerate majesty in this dreadful matter. You're tempted to say that if this is Henry showing kindness, you wouldn't want to see him being cruel, but you do. In fact, you see a lot of cruelty in the rest of the novel. There is no end of it. And what is striking is that so much of this cruelty from Henry and others is backed up by very sincere theology. People pored over the scriptures and then came up with a theological scheme that allowed them to dehumanize, brutalize, and dismiss others. The scheme, you see, filtered out the deep moral and ethical truths of the Bible, including that everyone is made in the image of God. It rendered those who devised it blind to some of the most important and challenging aspects of the biblical narrative and the call of Jesus in our lives, especially about how to treat others. Ultimately, it served as the basis for justifying cruelty to others. Sadly, history is studded with this sort of process. As it happened, after finishing The Mirror and the Light, I went on to read an even bigger book about how the Puritans, the Pilgrim Fathers as we would call them, laid the groundwork for the modern day economy of the United States. So, when the Puritans arrived in North America, their particular theological scheme led them to look down on Native Americans as an impediment to the Puritan project of colonizing the land to make it more productive. These Puritans considered themselves God's elect, with a manifest destiny to make America great. One of the Puritan leaders viewed a series of epidemics that had swept away, in his words, great multitudes of the natives as an act of special providence by God. According to this leader's theological lights, God deployed disease to pave the way for a Puritan takeover. He concluded, God hath hereby cleared our title to this place, and he saw nothing to trouble his conscience in any of this. Another Puritan leader exulted that the Almighty had been so gracious and kind as to give these recent arrivals from Britain other people's lands for an inheritance, as he put it. But these Puritans didn't just wait to be given, they also played an active part in taking. As part of that process, this leader had just presided over the burning to death of 400 Native American men, women, and children. The thing is, both these Puritan leaders genuinely and very sincerely believed they were modeling true Christianity to the Native Americans, with, in their minds at least, a big focus on charity and kindness. All of this got me thinking. If we're asked the opposite of kindness, we might well immediately answer cruelty. But on reflection, I wonder if it's better to say that blindness is the opposite of kindness. In this approach, blindness comes first. Cruelty is its bitter fruit. The blindness results in the unkindness. According to our theological lights, I wonder what groups and individuals we might be treating with cruelty and contempt, even as we imagine we are displaying generosity and kindness. I leave you with that thought. On a much more mundane matter, note that this Saturday morning, as has become our pattern, the glass porch will be open between 10 and 11 to allow you to drop off your contributions to church funds if that is helpful to you. God bless. Bye for now.